everyone. It is such a pleasure to welcome you all here on behalf of the Department of English and Communication. So I'm going to start by talking a little bit about myself because I want to share that PolyU really encourages it encourages academic excellence, but it also really encourages and has so many opportunities for so many extracurricular activities. So I'm working in the English Drama Club, in the Hall Community Service Group, also in the Student Halls of Residence as a wing leader and a peer mentor. These are great opportunities to meet people from other departments and talk to them. And there are also jobs available, like I'm a student assistant for one of my courses, Aspects of European Public Discourse. And I think these part-time jobs really help us learn how to manage our time, give us really good opportunities to build our resumes, and really practice the skills that we are learning in the NGO. So I want to also talk about the same class. Clearly, this is a student favorite. Dr. Aditi does a really good job teaching this. And like Vyman mentioned, we have some lectures where she introduces some theories about critical discourse analysis. And then we actually do workshops in class where we look at a text and really break it down and analyze it together and in groups and then with the teacher. And this is really interesting because we look at how is language constructed by professionals to create meaning. And usually professional discourse has many different purposes. One of them is to convey our expertise to laymen, to the general public, to people who are not part of that context. But another is to actually have communication within the context. Like if I'm a linguist and I'm talking about retroflex plosive, a voice retroflex plosive consonant. It's something that laymen will not be able to understand, but people who study linguists will be able to understand. And lastly, my favorite part about professional discourse is how brands communicate their identity and image to the audience. So that's why I want to share again the same assignment that Wyman did about crisis management discourse. And it's really interesting because I looked at Dolce Gabbana, which is a Italian high fashion brand, and they actually have quite a controversial history and many scandals around PR, which is why it was really interesting to analyze this. And while I talk about this, I'm going to talk about my process as well. So we look at crisis management strategies. So I searched up some papers on this topic that are published in journals, and also looking at the brand's history and how do people perceive the brand, which helps us really understand the context in which this text operates, and which is really important in doing critical discourse analysis. So in particular, I chose this controversial video that was released by Dolce & Gabbana, where they talk about a Chinese woman trying to eat Italian dishes using chopsticks. And it's really culturally insensitive. And as you can see from some of the dialogue here, it's very putting down on the Chinese culture and putting Italian culture as more superior. And this video was launched right before the launch of Dolce & Gabbana in China. So it was it was supposed to be promotional, but it really backfired and was really had negative responses by people. So these are some of the screenshots from the video. As you can see, I guess it's a lot of cultural appropriation as well, and using Chinese symbols in an inappropriate way. And it got a lot of media coverage. So when we really look at professional discourse, we don't think of these advertisement videos really as professional discourse. We think maybe it's, HR legal documents. But these are also examples of professional discourse where traditional media and digital media really talk about some of the things that the company has done and how it builds people's perceptions of the company. So like I mentioned, Dolce & Gabbana has been part of a lot of different scandals. They have been quite insensitive in many different ways, where they talk about racism, in vitro fertilization, homophobia. And it's really, starts to build up their own brand image and identity as culturally insensitive, as racist, and among other things. So one of the things that is important here when we do such an assignment is to see how do we structure our analysis in a way that really makes it clear that we understand the class objectives, and also making it impactful, making it persuasive, and making people really understand our claims very well. So after this, I talked about the consequences of such a scandal on the people. And we see a lot of models, a lot of public celebrities, public figures boycott Dolce & Gabbana after this incident because they don't want to stand in alignment with a brand that is being racist. And this results in a huge decline in sales, a very rapid decline in sales. And so Wyman gave an example of corporate discourse where they are able to manage the crisis very well. But in this case, they didn't. And it's very interesting to analyze this because this video came out after their sales had dropped. Everyone is aware, and there's a lot of criticism online, and everyone is aware that they're losing millions of dollars. And then they apologize. And it really, because they didn't act immediately, we really see that even though they're asserting goodwill, they're saying sorry, they're saying we respect all cultures, we love China. In reality, people do not buy it. And that is a really interesting thing to look at because if you see the likes dislikes ratio on the left side, it's so many more dislikes than likes on this video, and everyone is mocking them for these comments because they really did not take responsibility, and it really hurt the brand identity. So a brand like Dolce & Gabbana really has its desired image to show elegance, to show status and money, to show luxury, and to really portray the people who wear the brand's apparel and fragrances and bags to really feel like they're luxurious, that they're living in a very sort of fantasy superior world. But in reality, when we look at the way that the brand is being portrayed in media, we see that they're actually portrayed as quite negatively. They're portraying as being racist. And so their public perceptions are not aligning with the desired image that the brand wants. And this forces the brand to change their discursive strategy. So now in their professional discourse, in the Instagram ads, that Instagram photographs that they post, they want to have Asian and Black representation to say that, hey, we're not racist. These people also use our products. And also they have diverse sexual orientations, diverse gender identities being portrayed because they really want to show we are inclusive. Whether this is effective or not is still debatable. And I think that's one of the hard parts of critical discourse analysis, to see how do public react to it. But this course is really important because I want to talk about my internship experiences this last summer. And I worked as a public relations assistant in a PR company and also a management associate assistant in a tuition agency. And a lot of the tasks that I did really applied all of these things that I learned in this class in the real world, in my actual job experience. So I created a media kit where we were advertising our entertainment blog to advertisers and conveying our brand identity. And if the advertisers relate to it, then they can buy some space on our entertainment blog to promote their ads. And we also, and for the tuition agency, talking about the vision, mission, and values of the company. So the company looks more than just a tuition agency, but rather as a bridge that is connecting the students to their dream life. It's also very important in the internal communication that we do with our supervisors in our work. So I was really able to construct emails and be professional and align to the company's values and think about that in a different light, in the light of what does communication really represent, and what values is our language representing and portraying to the public. And this is also important in external communication. For example, I was writing blog posts for parents, students, and tutors, and the different style used, the different kind of language used, and the different values we want to portray in these blog posts, for example, that learning is joyful, how to be more disciplined with our time, how to work on self-development, are all values that align with the brand. And we really want to make sure that when we work in a company, our communication really represents what the company wants to represent. And even now, a lot of the projects that I'm doing, for example, building credibility for online content that we're creating as students, looking at how to collaborate with external stakeholders, how to promote our material in the English Drama Club, and on a very personal scale, how do I make my LinkedIn profile appealing to prospective employers? And so, yeah, these are some examples of posters that we created that are really speaking to the audience and conveying the values that we want to communicate. So yeah, this is some of the practical ways in which this class has helped me and really given me the skills to be a competent professional in the real world. So yeah, thank you.